Patrick Graham, the DC of the Las Vegas Raiders. They are picking 7th overall, and it's always great here for these coaching staffs to see these players firsthand. As Tom said, not full coaching staffs here, obviously. Not much wind whatsoever. We were down to the field beforehand, really nothing.
It's a beautiful Chamber of Commerce day here, Charles.
Absolutely, and these guys can't wait to finally do it. Practice is one thing. Everyone wants to play on game day. She ran the route. See, a lot of times you're going to get that call. If you run the route, stop and kind of post up, or if you really run into the defender. He clipped him as the defender's making a run for the ball. That should have not been called.
And picked off Jay Ward.
There's
now,
a tight end. There's
3rd and goal from the 14. Haener, end zone. Over the head of Michael Wilson. 4th down.
Jake Haener's pass intended for number 4. Michael Wilson is
Good job working outside.
That'll bring up 4th down.
It's Darrell Luter Jr., South Alabama, playing on his home field.
He had the separation, but Luter closed the gap. He did a good job making up the space to make that a very tough play.
Haener's got to get it up a little earlier, too.
Yep.
Pop it up in the air, give him a shot.
Let him run under it as opposed to having to make a contested play at the end.
Each and every year at this game.
All right. Sometimes organic twists and stunts actually happen. We open it up at a 3-0 game here, in the first snap for Clayton Tune out of Houston. Throws to the local guy, Cam Latu, the tight end, the former linebacker, and he picks up a 1st down on the first play from scrimmage.
See him working right here. There's Mingo. He's going to push it up the field, and then nice coming flat on that dig, Charles. You don't want to drift on that one. You get yourself and the quarterback in trouble. And a good job by Tune hanging in there with KJ Henry. Tell you what, the best position group in this game is this offensive line for the American team. When you go left all the way to the right tackle, all 5 of these players, Charles, I think can be started. There will be starting players next year as rookies. That's how talented this group is. You see that clean pocket they have to operate from.
3rd back in now for the American team. Eric Gray from Oklahoma checks in. Tune over the middle. Complete to Luke Musgrave from Oregon State. Cam Jones, Indiana, gets his 2nd tackle on this drive.
Charles, people think we're crazy when we say Musgrave can be a 1st-round pick. He's got 2 career touchdowns. Trust me, he might be. If he's got a good shot at being a 1st-round pick.
More traits.
Here's Tune on 3rd down. Gray out of the backfield has got to get to the 32. He's fighting near the 35. It's going to be 4th down.
To go in round 1, the center. Torrance, the right guard, I think has a chance to go in round 1.
4th and 4. Tune out of the backfield. Gray has room. 20. Gray. Henley chased him down, or Gray could have been in the end zone.
Got a flag on the play behind it. See if it comes back.
Back at the 42.
This was just right away. There was nowhere else Clayton Tune was going with that football, just throwing it into the flat.
KJ Henry's doing a wrestling celebration.
Put hands to the face. Offense. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Remains 4th down.
That play call had no other option to it. That play call was all the way swing out of the backfield, try and pick it up, and they did it well.
Gers is on to punt, and Jaden Reed, Michigan State, stands at his 9. Corsack is going to drop it on the 5. Can they down it? Yes, sir. Heck of a job by this American special teams crew to down this on the 1-yard line. Jamie Robinson from Florida State. Well done.
You know, you don't get too many chances to make big plays as a punter. When you get one, you are excited. Put it in the right spot and your teammates pick you up.
Watch Tyreek Stevenson from Miami against Florida State this year. He talked so much trash. Florida State took a swing at him. And now you're in an all-star game. They're working very beautifully together.
They're like, hey, man, that was pretty cool, right? No hard feelings. Let's play ball.
How about a carry for Payne Durham here? The Purdue tight end who lined up in the backfield, put his hand down as the F-back here. They're backed up on the 1-yard line. Payne Durham carries the football.
6'5", 258-pound fullback right there.
Just trying to get the ball off the shadow of the goal line.
After the Ray Guy Award winner Adam Corsack from Rutgers pinned this national team down on the 1. Chase Brown from Illinois, who had over 1,600 yards a year ago for the Fighting Illini, now into the game. Jake Haener, 2 for 3, 30 yards on that opening drive. Haener, Brown. It's going to be third down. What do you have, Tom?
Well, Jake Haener missed over a month after fracturing his right ankle against USC last September. He came back, but he was wearing a brace, had to get multiple tape jobs. Looked like he was wearing a ski boot. That really impacted his mobility, but he told me this week he's moving a lot better. His arm also got taxed a little bit this week in practice because Malik Cunningham was sick on Tuesday. Now Jaron Hall out for the game. I ran to Haener at dinner last night. He told me he spent a lot of time with the athletic trainers, got needlework and stem. He's ready to go today.
All right. Jake Haener showed his toughness in that win 2 years ago, upsetting UCLA at the Rose Bowl. Showed his toughness when he battled back from that ankle injury. Showing his toughness here this week and showing some accuracy as well. That's a first down here, complete to Jaden Reed crossing the field. And finally some breathing room here out near the 32.
Beautiful job. There's Reed. That's where he's going to operate best, coming out of the slot. And watch how he comes across field, just pure speed. A lot of the time he's going to give you a little shake and then go. In this case, he's able to just go across the field, and what a nice throw by Haener. You know how you guys know how I am about these quarterbacks and accuracy. Put it on him where you're supposed to put it on him. Put it on his shoulder so he can get and continue upfield. If it's zone coverage, you stop him so he doesn't get to the safety. Well thrown ball by Haener.
The coverage there from Jay Ward from LSU, a gain of 25. Jake Haener came here with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, guys. Obviously, we have seen his toughness here. He continues in the long line of Fresno State quarterbacks.
Is there anyone we've run into that doesn't have a chip on their shoulder?
Everyone seemingly has one.
He made some unbelievable throws outside the numbers where you can really test his arm strength. He can drive the football even when he doesn't have a lot of foot space and room to operate. And we're seeing some zone reads, Charles. I wonder if the fact they only have 2 quarterbacks today, he's not pulling it.
No, and that's not his game anyway. Jake Haener's not going to be a runner. I mean, between he and Malik Cunningham today, you will see major contrast in how the game is played from the quarterback spot as you take a look at all of what he accomplished in Fresno.
Yeah, I think he's a good athlete. I think he's capable of getting those free yards. If you're going to give him free yards, it's never going to be his first option. He's always going to be throw first.
Well, he'll be the type that your quarterback coach says, can you get us a first down with your feet once or twice a game? But they're not going to call a lot of that zone read and quarterback run game with him. He's capable of that, but no more.
It's 3rd and 2, and Chase Brown from Illinois gets a first down here for the national team out to the 45. And yes, we have a 2-minute warning at the end of the first quarter. There's going to be a change of possession at the end of each quarter here. So a 2-minute drive coming up for Jake Haener and the national team. It's 3-0 early here in Mobile. Twin brothers. First time we've had twins both represented here in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. Chase Brown just picked up the first half of the national team. His brother Sidney Brown, also at Illinois, has had a good week here as a safety. So what can the Browns do for the national team, TJ?
Oh, they've been excellent. Great week of practice and starting off well here in the ball game. But I think both these guys got a chance to start early on.
Yeah, I think Sidney's been the best safety that we've seen so far this week.
And here's Chase for maybe a yard. Tom Pelissero, Chase is 2 minutes older than Sidney. As the Chiefs get ready to head to Arizona, here obviously they were well represented at the Senior Bowl over the last couple of years. It's a 3-0 game. Darren Kennard, Josh Williams here last year, Jalen Watson as well, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, anchors on that offensive line. Kadarius Toney came on late as well.
And you talk about 4 starters on that list for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Clayton Tune dragged out of the end zone and throwing it away.
There's some active heavy hands up front by Lonnie Phelps coming off the top here from Kansas. You can see him working against that right tackle. Gets right up the field, throws that upfield shoulder. Will get some pressure and force that ball out.
We had Kyron Johnson here from Kansas last year, an undersized pass rusher. He'll be there on Super Bowl Sundays with the Philadelphia Eagles this year.
So 41 seconds remaining. There's a change of possession, and at the end of the quarter, the American really here has a chance to double up. Trying to hit Musgrave up the seam. That ball got tipped by Cam Jones, and it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, tips and overthrows usually end up with interceptions. He was very fortunate this one did not get picked off.
Notice he had his eyes on the quarterback the entire time as he's making his drop, and he didn't get out of control in the drop.
Back at the Reese's Senior Bowl, that's Clayton Tune, the quarterback from Houston. Back on the field for the American team, down 6-0 after a couple of Chad Ryland field goals. The kicker out of Maryland. Thanks for watching college football today here on NFL Network, along with Tom Pelissero on the sideline, Charles Davis and Daniel Jeremiah. I'm Andrew Siciliano. Clayton Tune, 6-9, 47 yards. He now has Chris Rodriguez from Kentucky in the backfield, and they run for the first time today. That's the first American run, and Rodriguez crosses the 30 to get around 5.
That was a really nice job by Luke Musgrave, the tight end. We talked about him being a first-round pick for how fast he is and what he can bring you in the passing game. A nice job just washing the defensive end right down the line.
That's nice. Nick Hampton from App State.
Exactly. Just created a ton of movement. Gave Rodriguez a nice, easy read to cut off of.
And that's what Rodriguez does best. One cut, get upfield with his pads.
And a gain of 6 for a running back who averaged 113 yards a game and almost broke a big one there. Tom out to the 39. Has started this game well with a couple of carries from more than 10 yards, and he now gets a breather. And Eric Gray is back in, carrying it to the 44. The tackle by Thomas Imkum from Central Michigan.
How do you contrast Eric Gray and Rodriguez in terms of runners, DJ?
Well, I think different styles. You got kind of a slashing runner with Eric Gray, who's going to also get out in the passing game, do more of that. I think you've got more of a downhill, north-south attacking style runner in Rodriguez.
And Rodriguez fits Kentucky and what they do in their program perfectly, doesn't he?
No doubt.
Those big, strong, physical, what they call the big blue wall. Benny Snell made quite a name there, now with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Here's Gray trying to get loose. Gray across the 50. Gray has a first down. Ivan Pace from Cincinnati, the linebacker, had a very good week, was on his back.
See why we miss this young man at the University of Tennessee when he transferred to Oklahoma. Ran for over 1,300 yards this past year. Good vision, able to absorb hits, bounce off of them, and get upfield. I think he's much more of that quicker than fast, DJ, don't you? I don't think he's a straight line, flat out sprinter, but out in the open field, he will make people miss. We saw it earlier on that 4th and 4 with the safety from Cal, Daniel Scott, made him miss an open field.
Very shifty.
Eric Gray, when he was at Tennessee, the MVP of the Tax Slayer Bowl a couple of years ago for the Vols. Gray trying to sift through the traffic there, gets maybe a yard.
Beat Indiana in that game in a late comeback, and that was a big ball game for him. Announced his presence for the Vols before ended up at Oklahoma and finished things out there.
I'm always curious in a game where we know what the coverages are supposed to look like, and you've got Daniel Scott, the safety from Cal, who's lined up right at the line of scrimmage, almost making a tackle for loss.
But all that is straight ahead pursuit, DJ. That's just aggressiveness. It means it's a quick read. He triggered and he went there.
You got 3 high coverage here. Let's see if they can get the ball in the seams.
Clayton Tune over the middle, complete near the 40. Not hitting the seams yet.
They actually had 2 receivers on the same plane, didn't they, DJ? They had the tight end and then the receiver that caught the ball, and they were essentially one behind the other. I'm not sure it was supposed to break down that way, but Clayton Tune made the right decision to go to the right person.
And you hear the cheer from the crowd. That was Jalen Wayne, cousin of our friend Reggie, who's playing on his home turf here in South Alabama.
Who's that behind him? That was Latu, the tight end from Alabama. I believe it was the second receiver in the same sight line.
Cam Latu, who had a reception on the first play from scrimmage. Kenny McIntosh making guys miss. Look at the Georgia running back. Kenny McIntosh on 3rd and 2 gets 4 to the 35. Daniel Scott there with the tackle. I mentioned Jalen Wayne. There was a Jalen Tolbert who played in this game last year, had his rookie season with the Cowboys, both South Alabama receivers. Malik Cunningham and Grant DeBose were high school teammates in Montgomery.
Think about Kadarius Toney, who we'll see in that Super Bowl as a local player out here during the week. Well, yeah,
maybe
on the roster.
Maybe
has made some plays for them since that trade. But remember, he came out here during the week of practice, had a fan club.
Yeah, sure did, didn't he?
McIntosh churns for 5 to the 30.
Yeah, he was well represented, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. All right, Tyjae Spears has just come back into the game. I've yet to call him Tajae Sharp today during the game, so people have probably lost money on that.
You've been sharp.
There you go. There you go. He has been the most impressive running back this week in practice. Not only what he's done running the football, but actually catching the ball out of the backfield with his quickness, One of his plays went a little viral, Charles, with his change of direction.
Yeah, that was just crazy. That was just wrong is what he did. And that was against Servassier Dennis, who's a good pass defender for Pitt.
Play fake to Spears, and then a throwback across the middle. Musgrave, middle of the field, has a first down.
Boy, he had Will Mallory for a touchdown over the top if he comes back to that backside post. Charles, Tyjae Spears during the week of practice, your thoughts?
Well, I remember you mentioned, see that towel back there? I know the Pro Bowl is a 7-on-7 flag football. Wouldn't have pulled the flag on him at all in the Pro Bowl, would they? I mean, he's getting through there with ease, and then the ability to make people miss, plus runs with a strength that people don't expect from a guy who weighs in the high 190s, low 200s. I just go the other way.
Third down, 2.
Nice coverage, nice tackle.
Over the middle to Jalen Wayne. Hit immediately. It's going to be fourth down. Jaquarian Bennett.
All right, we are. I promised Rhett after they did not get a touchdown in the East-West game that we were going to get it. We're going to get a touchdown here. We're getting some field goals early. We're getting in the flow a little.
Malik Cunningham, 120 career touchdowns at Louisville. It's pretty much him and Lamar Jackson and Teddy Bridgewater there. Every major Louisville passing record. 70 for Cunningham through the air, 50 on the ground. He ran for 1,000 yards in 2021. He's an Alabama native, always wanted to come to the Senior Bowl. He gets his chance here today. He is from Montgomery. He's going to keep that. He's going to get around Ali Gay. He's going to get to the 30. Malik Cunningham making plays with his legs early.
For me today, I definitely want to see much more of him being able to throw the football from the pocket.
Getting to 12 there for Cunningham. He hands to SaRodorick Thompson. He gets around the edge. 45. Little stutter step across midfield. SaRodorick Thompson run out of bounds by Darius Rush. Malik Cunningham knows there is going to be a comparison to Lamar Jackson, but he wants to be his own man.
I mean, Lamar's play from not from this earth. He's very different. We got a lot of similar things, but I mean, I enjoy the comparison. I love that, but we both our own player. But I do pattern my game behind him, and it's a blessing to be able to be in the same category with him. He's where I want to get at, and I'm blessed to have him in my corner.
And he put it up there and counted on Durham to come down with it, DJ. He makes the catch. There's the
first
foot,
down at the 1.
the second foot. Nope, he didn't get in.
It's a great call.
It's a good call.
It's right there at the half-yard line.
Please set the clock to 2 minutes.
Look, both tight ends you've got open here. You put on either one of them.
And this is, we saw Durham throughout this week get better and better at catching the football, contorting his body, and showing strong hands taken away from a defender.
But he still got it in, and there is Malik.
They called a run play. He's supposed to hand it off. He's like, you know what? If I just drop it, I can get away with it. Scoop it up.
That is the rule.
Ronnie Bell down here in a tight split.
Play fake to Thompson, throw to Durham, and he gets his 2. Clearly inbounds this time. There's a flag.
They had a little bit of pressure in his face there, DJ, on that one. And almost short-armed it a little bit.
KJ Henry from Clemson wearing number 5 off the edge there. The intended receiver was Cameron Latu from Alabama. Second down. Duggan time of the pocket, surveys the field. Now he's got to spin away from pressure. Now he's going down. Latu sacked at the 25 by big Carl Brooks, who had a great week at Bowling Green.
Yeah, Brooks is an interesting one just because of all the different things he can do. It's number 13 here. He's 6'3" and change. He's 303 pounds.
Watch this action inside.
Just keeps working. Just never stops working.
You talk all the time about pass rush moves. You can't just be one. You have to keep throwing moves at people.
It's a loss of 12 now as Duggan scrambles, gets away from KJ Henry. So more pressure here from this national defense.
I don't know that I've ever seen a corner almost make a tackle backwards. Tyreek Stevenson gets a little turned around. Watch him almost make this tackle. Almost like a wrestling move.
Would you say
a DDT right there, trying to pull him down.
I like that, but how about Ronnie Bell recognizing, coming back for the football? I thought the ball was in a good spot. I've got all the running. That part, he's dynamic. He's got a good enough arm. I just want
20 talked him as a quarterback. That's what he wants to be. 2 for 2 early, but that doesn't mean he cannot run. Eyes downfield, keeps it here, and Cunningham gets out of bounds near the 35-yard line with 13
to go to the University of Cincinnati. He was here at practice visiting with us and said, can't tell you the number of times the coaches in the ACC said, when is Malik Cunningham going to be done? We've seen enough of him.
Yeah, it's going right down the line.
Some big number 70 right there.
Went to North Dakota State as a tight end, correct?
Correct.
And worked his way inside. Nine-man football in high school, so he's on his feet, a lot of agility. You touch the ball in nine-man football because a lot of laterals and plays of that nature.
Chad Ryland 2 for 2. The Maryland kicker gets a third crack at it, and he is perfect on that one as well.
Again, stay alert for 22 coming to the game. Something that we talked about before. The check downs for the guys inside, keep getting that push or getting the hands up. We're going to get a tip ball and play some sort of naked, unless they started off like they did at the beginning of the game. But it's really quarterback under center, guys on the edge, play the run. Don't run up the field with that QB under center because they got that cutback on the run right there. Everybody got me? All right, got it.
Gotcha. And now we have the second drive here from Max Duggan at a TCU. Hands it to Chris Rodriguez for the first snap of the third quarter.
That's one of the things that's cool about this game is not only are you going to evaluate how these guys play and their athleticism, can they catch, can they run, all that stuff you can see, but for the coaches to be able to impart some advice, Charles, and see if it's followed, see about the coachability, the football intelligence, another key part of this week.
Remember at the beginning of the game, Tom Pelissero told us these guys are coaching up, meaning above what their position has been, maybe a little bit extra. Oh, this is a tough one right there.
Uh-oh. As Duggan had trouble staying up and runs into Rodriguez. That ball is on the ground, and that is a turnover right out of the gate. Dan Henley hit him after the ball hit the ground.
DJ, as a quarterback, what are you taught when you get this kind of trouble? Are you really supposed to try and finish executing,
just get on
or
the
just
ball.
Turtle and hold on to the football?
You trip, just get down right there. It's a 4-yard loss.
See, he's still trying to make a play there, getting it to Rodriguez. I think that most quarterback coaches will tell you at this point, you tuck that ball into your jersey and just go down and live to fight another down.
Let's give Lonnie Phelps, let's give him some love there, Andrew, because he did get the ball to his belly, not in a traditional fashion, but Lonnie Phelps was there at the exact same time to poke it away. He's had a nice. That's a nice day.
Second nice play that you've mentioned, Lonnie Phelps in this ball game.
The transfer from Miami of Ohio there, forcing the fumble.
What is open? Guy next to him.
After a gain of 24, the give is to Chase Brown. The Illinois back, his brother Sidney, twin brother, playing safety, one of the better DBs here this week. Chase Brown this past year for the Illini, second in all of FBS in rushing yardage.
I'm willing to say, if you go back in history and look at guys that have started over 40-plus games in the Big Ten in the offensive line, they all stick. They all stick at the next level.
Oluwatimi won the Remington, won the Outland, playing here in Mobile, and blocking for Chase Brown, who tries to spin through a tackle here. Aubrey Miller's name. We're calling him a lot, not only during the week, but here on game day.
Very active. Plays a little bit bigger than his 229 pounds that he's listed at. Nice job for Coach Prime.
Had 112 tackles last year. The Missouri transfer, not getting a lot of playing time in Mizzou. Goes to Jackson State and becomes an All-American in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. The SWAC Defensive Player of the Year.
With 28 TFLs the last 3 years.
I've been asking for this guy to get involved all week long, Charles, and we just haven't seen many opportunities come Davis Allen's way. Big tight end from Clemson.
Slotted left. Instead, it's Tucker, the intended receiver, and Tucker goes up high, but cannot hang on.
Jamari Connor, I thought, is that 22?
It is.
Who I've been told wasn't going to play in this one, but sometimes you make a little reverse pivot and you say, you know, I'm in. And he doesn't see the ball at all, but how about him late in the play, DJ? He plays the hands coming up and brings his hand up through and knocks it away.
Quarterback spots. Well,
that's the question.
That's what they've got to answer.
Yeah.
But if you do, you've got one of these unique years where I think you can make a trade.
Yep.
And you might only have to go down one spot and get a pretty nice
to get what you want. There's no question about it. And I thought Luke Getsy did an excellent job.
He doesn't want to run. He should have taken off and run. You don't want to ever be laid out to the flat, out to the perimeter. You're just late. He's totally baiting him the whole way, too. He's just sitting there waiting to drive on that ball. It's a heck of a play. Just
Daniel Scott from Cal, the safety.
Is that not an interception?
I think the right foot might have been on the paint.
Back out there of just be patient and keep getting better.
He got benched at halftime of a national championship game in a year where he was first team all-season quarterback and player of the year.
Big hit
and then
by
he's come
Jay
back
Ward
from that.
there.
Now he's in the Super Bowl.
Big
Pretty
hit by
impressive.
Jay Ward. Sorry, Charles, on Malik Cunningham. Here's the list we showed earlier. The Chiefs who have played in the Senior Bowl. This is a pretty impressive list here of Eagles.
And I'll give you a couple guys here. Hassan Reddick was a star down here, and Lane Johnson, if you remember, it was him and Eric Fisher were both in that game that same year. Yep. Both ended up being high picks, and Lane Johnson thought that was a competition between those two that week.
Lane still ticked off he didn't go before him. Out of that list of Eagles, only one person on that list is not a starter.
Dillard, right?
Andre Dillard.
Still a first-round pick.
First-round pick.
So Roderick Thompson with the carry there. Maybe a yard, maybe two. Tom?
TCU quarterback Max Duggan. Obviously, you'd like to put some points on the board, but how'd you feel out there?
Yeah, it was all right. You know, it's fun being out here. And, yeah, we're trying to score some points right now, trying to get back into things.
The experience of putting on the TCU helmet one more time, all that school meant with you. What's that been like?
Yeah, you know, it means a lot. You know, what TCU meant to me, and being able to, you know, play there for 4 years, and, you know, obviously getting to put it on one last time means a lot to me.
So you go into this process, you know that there's a lot of questions you'll have to answer. You want to start answering them here. How do you feel like you've done in that regard?
Yeah, I think leading up in practice was some good days. You know, today, you know, we're kind of struggling right now. There's some things that I missed that I need to work on and get better. But there we go. That's what needed. That's what we needed. Go score. That's what helps right there.
All right, so now you have to stay on camera for the rest of this game. This is your team's best chance.
Yeah, exactly. Must be a good luck. So
thanks a lot, Max.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Anthony Johnson. Thanks to Max Duggan. Thank you, Max Duggan. Anthony Johnson from Virginia with the pick six, wearing the number 15 jersey worn by his late teammate in Charlottesville, Devin Chandler. Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Great play, too.
And the pressure was right in the face of Malik Cunningham. He had no chance. He got nothing on this football. Good read by Johnson, and he's right there in the vicinity. An easy collection for him, and all he had to do was sprint and finish. But Malik Cunningham pretty much threw a pop fly to him over there. Made that one easy. See, look at the pressure in his face. Right there.
That was...
He might have gotten clipped. His arm might have gotten clipped like a runner goes to first base and you're trying to make a tag.
Kind of scary a little bit. It goes a little
get that little vibration.
He headed to the locker room with trainer Dean Kleinschmidt.
That'd be
Good to see him back on the field.
The ulnar nerve.
There you go.
There you go. And there Evan Hull goes up the middle for a couple of yards. Jake Haener now into the game after that pick six. Anthony Johnson brought it back 37 yards. I beg your pardon. We're told now from the sideline that it is a strained shoulder. He was holding his elbow. They're calling it a strained shoulder and done for the day from Malik Cunningham, which means it's Jake Haener's fourth quarter.
Yeah, and if there is any zone read, it's there's no read. That is going to be a handoff. He is the last man standing. I would like to see them give a shot down the field here to Michael Wilson. They connected early in the game. The big Stanford receiver down here at the bottom.
Is that Jay Ward from LSU?
It is Jay Ward.
Who had been a corner, moved to safety, playing corner here this afternoon.
Well, their numbers are way down.
Numbers are down.
Position.
Doesn't hurt him either.
Evan Hull with that run for a first down. It's pretty exclusive territory here. 500 yards rushing, 500 yards receiving in the same season. 3 guys, 2 of them here, Evan Hull and Kenny McIntosh. Travis Etienne just put together a really nice, what in essence was rookie season for the Jaguars after being hurt all of 2021.
DJ, may I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
His rookie year before he got hurt, Etienne, all I kept hearing was them talking about using him as a slot receiver. What were they thinking?
That was a previous coaching staff.
what would possess you to say, I'm going to draft this kid #1? He's going to be my slot guy. That means I was sitting there going, you got to be kidding me. Maybe some slot plays.
I think he
but
can
not
do
full
it.
time. All I'm saying is, but it sounded like they were really working him hard at that spot. And I said, that just didn't make any sense to me. Give that man the football. That's why you drafted him and let him run. How'd that turn out this year?
Yeah, it turned out well, and it turned out very well as well for the Jaguars, who not only made it into the playoffs, winning the AFC South. Sorry, DJ, won a playoff game as well over your Chargers.
Things turned quickly in that one.
They did. Haener out of the gun on 2nd and 8. Haener throws it, puts some gas on it, and it's caught by Michael Wilson, first down.
It's a heck of a catch. And Michael Wilson, when you watch him during this season, you guys talked about the time that he's missed.
Yep.
But when he's out there, you can see the suddenness. Look at him snap this off and work back, make a heck of a catch. And that was really kind of one of the knocks on him. 12.5% drop rate this year.
Territory. I'm sure he probably doesn't want to, but one day he may be embracing that.
Elijah Higgins had a good week of work, wearing 85, not playing here today, but Evan Hull is. Hull already has 10 carries on the day. Caught that one there and then got popped by Jamie Robinson, the first Florida State back-to-back first-team All-American defensive back since Jalen Ramsey. Take a listen.
Yeah, and that's Jamie Robinson's game. He's one of those guys who will meet force with force anytime you get good and ready.
Yeah, somebody forgot to tell him he's 194 pounds.
Yeah, it's not it, but he doesn't mind it. He comes at you like a truck.
As a safety, led the Seminoles in tackles in each of the last 2 years. Cameron Peoples here, who didn't start well, dropped a couple of passes early, gets a carry here for maybe a yard with a flag.
Cameron Peoples on the carry. There is also a flag on the play.
Now back it up and make it 1st and 20 on the 46. The play fake to Peoples. Hayner wants a shot downfield, nothing there. Throws to Peoples, who catches this one, but doesn't get much. The tackle by Byron Young from Tennessee. So that's App State tackled by Tennessee.
He sniffed that one out, didn't he, DJ? Talk about Byron Young. He's probably supposed to be pass rushing on that one, but I think he sensed the receiver trying to slip out and stayed with him and made the play.
I'll tell you what, that was much more difficult ball to catch than Peoples had on the 2 that he dropped. He going outside his frame and got that one.
DJ, there wasn't any chance in heck he was dropping a 3rd in a row.
No,
I don't care if he twisted around, did a 360 to catch, he would have gotten it.
Watching all his games throughout his career, one thing he does, if he gets a little seam, you'll be surprised. He gets going, burst. He can stride it out.
And Peoples from Lineville, Alabama, in the backfield here. Screen, Peoples catches it, but falls out of the process. You can get back up, but he's got nowhere to go. DJ Dale from Alabama was there.
Sunbelt action here, and this is a conference that's had some good teams. You've seen it reflected in some of their big out-of-conference wins over the last few years. App State knocking off A&M, almost knocked off North Carolina in a wild game.
That was a crazy game. That started the season off, didn't it?
Troy has always been a great program. We see a couple locals here from South Alabama.
How about Old Dominion jumping on Virginia Tech?
How about Old Dominion also being represented by Keon White, who began there before transferring to Georgia Tech.
And South Alabama opens with Tulane next year. How happy are they that Tyjae Sparks is no longer on the roster?
There we go.
There's Cameron Peoples
That's what he does.
Shoulder.
That's what he does.
But it is still 4th and long, 4th and 9. Take a listen. Jake Planer, take a shot. Complete inside the 5. And that's a Michael Wilson touchdown.
That's the second thing we've seen drop out of the sky today, Charles.
Here's Bagent, pressure from the other side, pressured by Phelps, escapes. Bagent now throws, and he is intercepted. That's Jacorian Bennett, the Mobile, Alabama native. McGill-Toolen High School gets an interception at home.
Bagent just trying to make a play, trying to do a little too much there. That's a nice play, though, for the local kid. You got to love that. There's just nothing there, Charles, so you're going to see it right here from the end zone.
They're trying to convert the route.
You got to get this up and over the top. The ball was too flat. Obviously, just trying to buy some time.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.